Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, Marcus. Thank you a lot, all colleagues, for this opportunity to present innovation ecosystem of Ukraine and all that we can provide to international stakeholders, to the European partners. And I want to share my moderation note and my presentation right now. Just a few minutes. I will share it with our participants. So I can start. And I need to say that, first of all, good morning and good evening, everyone. I'm sorry. My name is Olga Shubina-Kurylenko. I'm the head of the UCCI Export Support Center and EN Ukraine Consortium coordinator. And let me start with a simple but a quite important point. Despite the war, despite the risk, despite all the difficulties, headlines, Ukraine today is not a market that is pausing. It's a market that's transforming. And this is exactly why investment and innovation are not secondary topic right now. They're quite central. Ukraine is actively rebuilding its economy through innovation, technology, international cooperation, and for European companies, that is not only about support, that is about opportunity. So today, I would like to give you a clear understanding of where Ukraine stands, what is really changing, and where is the entry points are. We are start with the macroeconomic reality. If we look at the current economic situation, and you can see some of the figures on the slide right now, the key message is stability under pressure. Yes, growth is moderate. Yes, the war is still ongoing. But what is important, that the economy continues growth, and more importantly, that it's restructuring. This is growth is driven by very specific sectors: defense-related production, agricultural, logistic recovery, and energy system rebuilding. So what we see is not random resilience, it's sector-driven economic adaptation. At the same time, Ukraine is actively opening itself to investors. Last year, in 2025, we have already presented during the webinar Doing Business in Ukraine all our situation regarding the law, legislation, and possibility to invest in Ukraine. There are target investment for large-scale projects, industrial park expanding, and importantly, there is strong financial background from the European Union already mobilizing significant investment into recovery. So the key message here is Ukraine is not waiting for stability, it's building growth within instability. So now we are moved from the macro to actual investment behavior. This is where it becomes very concrete. Even in the current condition, deal activity continues, and more than 60% of investments are coming from domestic investors. This is extremely important because it shows that those who understand the market best are still investing in it. At the same time, we see very clear sectors concretization: IT and deep tech, infrastructure and construction, agriculture and energy. And when we looked at the startups, the focus is even more telling, i.e., deep tech, defense technologies, fintech, and energy resilience. So Ukraine is not just emerging market, it's become a technological driven ecosystem shaped by real needs. And this is exactly where international partners become relevant. So now let's talk about regulation, because it's often the key concrete moment. They're interesting to international partners. Ukraine is not just maintaining its regulatory system, it's actively redesigning to attract investment. There are three main shifts happening. So first, hybrid financial models combining public funding, donor support, and private capitals. Second, fast-track procedure, especially for priority and strategic projects. And third, currency liberalization, giving investor more flexibility in moving capital to operating internationally. So overall, the system is becoming more predictable, more flexible, and more aligned with international policies. If we are zoom out, we can clearly see the strategic directions. Ukraine is not treating innovation as separate sectors. It's positioned as the core driver recovery and growth. The restructured national strategy with clear priorities: developing digital ecosystem, supporting startups, stretching public-private partnership, and integration into the European innovation programs. And what is important here is the implementation. There is a clear action plan coordinated at the governmental level and ongoing monitoring. So it's not just a vision, it's the operational framework. And if we are talking regarding support from the international partners, we are also see that there are a lot of those donors that support right now our innovation ecosystem and support it in general, because we are not only talking about startups, we are not only talking about businesses, we are talking about the whole ecosystem, R&D developments, institutions, and also legislation development to build all this ecosystem in a one model. We are coming to the PPP reforms. One of the most important change for international partners is modernization of the private partnering framework. A new law adopted recently significantly improves how large projects can be structured and implemented. What does this mean in practice? It means that infrastructure, energy, digital services, and even defense-related projects can now be developed through more flexible and investment-friendly models. There are clear rules, faster approval, and better protection mechanism. So PPP is becoming a real entry point, not just a theoretical one. Slowly, but quite important point, we are coming by quite important point, it's investment conditions. We have already presented with our partners, Ukrinvest, the conditions for those international investors who want to invest in Ukraine in different projects. And I need to admit that this is the critical aspect to get into this investment condition. There are now mechanisms that directly address one of the biggest concerns currently at the capital moment. For example, investors can repatriate dividends, conduct cross-border payments within defined limits, and use financial instruments to manage risks. This may sound technically, I totally understand it, but it's reality and fundamental, because it means that investment is become not only possible but manageable. And for international partners who are coming with these investments, it's really important because they can all the investments and all the risk can be predictable. So now we are on the most dynamic and unique areas is defense and dual use technologies. We are talking a lot about this sector because it's really important right now, not only for Ukraine. For Ukraine, it's the critical importance, to be honest, but it's also important for the European countries. And if we are talking regarding Ukraine, Ukraine has introduced a special legal framework, often refers to a defense city, to accelerate innovation in this sector. We know a lot of different companies who are working in this sector, and we are quite rapidly growth. But what makes this important is not only the incentives, such as tax benefits, simplified procedures, but the scale of demand and innovation happening here. This sector is developing extremely fast and creating solutions that are relevant not only for Ukraine, but globally. And for the European companies, it's opened a completely new dimension of cooperation. So for sure, we will share this presentation, but you need also to understand that all these regimes, they're managing possibility to invest and to cooperate in different sectors. Diia City is the flagship innovation regime in Ukraine. First of all, that I need to admit that it's really the most advanced framework, of the tech sector. It's not just a tax regime; it's a full ecosystem for IT and innovation companies. It offers flexible employment models, modern legal instruments, strong IP protection, and competitive taxation. So at the scale is already significant. Thousands of companies that are quite large of the national tech sector and operating within this framework. So the tech companies, this is one of the most practical and immediate entry points into the Ukrainian market. And here you can also find the information and growth indicator of this regime. So I think that it can be quite interesting. So the numbers of resident companies doubled in 2025, and about 87% of new residents are young companies or startups. Resident companies generated more than 8 and 7 billion hryvnias tag revenue in 2024. So this is how we try to operate. This is how we try to use our possibility and to make the innovation better. And my last but not least slide, I need to admit that Ian worked for a long time, and we have a lot of different companies, clients who represent innovation and tech companies. For now, we are already working with 100 Ukrainian startups, with 100 Ukrainian companies, including the sector like an R&D, green technologies, energy efficiency. All our partners support different companies. And if you are looking the K sector's representative, it's energy, artificial intelligence and deep tech, research development, low carbon solution, local climate action and transformation initiatives. So for now, they are looking for partners in different sectors, but mostly it's formation of consortium and partnership within Horizon Europe project, because we are quite interested in attraction additional donor support, R&D collaboration, it's robotics, cybersecurity, drones, materials, outsourcing or near-sourcing engineering teams, access to niche expertise, joint product development. So all this information you can find in the frame of the EN network. So all this information and all these companies represent there. And if you need some additional support, for sure, we can support and provide you with additional information regarding these companies. You can apply to any of our experts, and we will share this information with you. So I need to admit that this presentation can be shared with you after our event. And to conclude, Ukraine today is not defined by only risk. And I don't want to put a lot of attention that we have some risky situation. It's defined by transformation, but speed and innovations. And those who engage early will not only support its recovery, they will become part of shaping a new innovation-driven economy. Thank you a lot. And I think that we move forward with our next speakers. If you have any additional questions, for sure you can share this question with me right now, or you can share these questions after our event. For sure, I will provide you with more details, more information, and right now we can proceed, yeah, because I see that there is no additional question. So I think that we can move to our next speaker. I need to admit the EU financial instruments play a key role today in reducing risk and encouraging business engagement with Ukraine. Importantly, this is not only about direct funding, but I need to admit that it's really important for our European partners to know how many programs we have right now and how many programs support development in Ukraine. So I kindly ask representative of DGNS, Jean, to take the floor and provide some more information regarding the financial instrument supporting engagement with Ukraine.
Many thanks, Olga. I hope you can hear me well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeanne Robles, representing the European Commission DG Enest, and specifically working in the Ukraine service on EU support to investments in Ukraine. And I will share my screen in a minute. And, I hope you can see correctly the screen. So the presentation today will focus on available instruments to support private sector in Ukraine. And when we talk about EU support for investment, we need to talk about the Ukraine facility. So in case you are not aware of what the Ukraine facility is this big support that the European Commission unlocked for to support Ukraine following the Russian war of aggression in Ukraine, against Ukraine. And this facility is built on three main pillars. Pillar one, which is support to the Ukrainian state, budget. Pillar three, which is more for technical assistance. And today, what is of interest for us is the pillar two, what we call as well the Ukraine investment framework. So it's this part of the Ukraine facility that is aimed at supporting public and private investments in Ukraine. So you see that we have 9.5 billion budget for this endeavor. And just maybe a kind reminder that the Ukraine facility was set up following the war of aggression against Ukraine, but also in the context of Ukraine's accession process to the European Union. So it goes also together. The Ukraine facility, it's implemented, and more specifically this pillar to support investments, it's implemented in coordination, in partnership with financial institutions. So it's not the European Commission supporting directly companies, but we are working through intermediaries that are financial institutions. It can be international financial institutions or European development banks. And for this purpose, we have identified together with the government of Ukraine priority areas for investment and for support. So we have access to finance and also support to SMEs, human capital, social sector, transport, CRM, energy, of course, strategic investment industry, digital, green transition, agri-food, and also right now, dual use is also eligible as a new sector under the Ukraine investment framework. And with the Ukrainian investment framework, this available support for investments, we have mainly, you have seen in the first slide, we have mainly budgetary guarantees and a little part of the budget that is for blended finance support. And the objective is to mainly de-risk investments. Blended finance grant can be combined with loans in certain specific case, but the objective is also to offer more favorable conditions than those available on the market for the businesses. There are different type of way to benefit from this support and also to engage with us on this support, and it mainly depends on the type of project, the type of investment that we are talking about. So for large companies, usually the way to go is to approach international investment, international financial institutions or a development bank. So here you have some example. Obviously, the list is not exhaustive, but it's just to give you an idea. And for smaller projects, what is recommended is to approach commercial banks in Ukraine, they are also benefiting from risk-sharing mechanism from the EU. So this is something to keep in mind. There is a long list of Ukrainian banks that are benefiting from this risk sharing. Here you have a tentative list. Again, it's not exhaustive, and you see there are different IFIs, international financial institutions, that are participating in this risk sharing with the European Commission. We have EBRD, EIB, IFC, BGK, etc. So well, we have a variety of, on one side, international financial institutions, and also of commercial banks that are benefiting from risk-sharing mechanisms. It's always important to remind that the investment decisions are done by our partners, the financial institutions, and they have their own due diligence, their own bankability checks to carry out. Another point to mention is that we are available to also discuss with companies if you have questions on the EU programs, if you need facilitation to have access, notably to the development financial institutions or the international financial institutions. But voilà, usually the companies directly approaches the financial institutions on their side, but both ways are welcome. And we have the list of programs that you can find on this website in case you are looking for the comprehensive list of commercial banks or of the partners, the international and European development banks with whom we are working. So here, for example, you have a quick example of the international and European development banks with whom we are working that can directly support companies. So EBRD, PGK, IFC, of course, and we have many others that are in discussion currently with us in negotiation to develop new programs such as EIB, NRB for the Czechs, FMC, etc. So the list is not exhaustive. You can find it on the website. Maybe one element to mention here, you see the logo of EDFI, EDFMC. It's a development group gathering, encompassing different EU member states development banks. So it's also something to consider as well. Maybe here quickly, I don't think I have to go into the details of this program, but it's just to give you an overview of what is available already on our side, what has been signed as a new program to support businesses investing in Ukraine. So we have 2 programs with IFC, 2 programs with EBRD, and then we have in negotiations more programs coming up with EIB, BGK, the Polish Development Bank, with FMC. I mentioned it, this group gathering different European member states development banks, and also here further with the Czech Development Bank, NRB, with KfW, the Germans, and Finance in Motion, BPI France as well, Finvera, KfW. These 3 last programs, they have been just approved by the member states, by the Commission, so they will be soon in negotiation. But you see the different programs. So here, those programs, they are aimed at supporting directly the businesses, while other programs, I mentioned it, we have intermediate programs where we have risk sharing that are passed through international financial institutions to commercial banks. So it's two type of programs, but in the end, companies have access to different level of stakeholders, either the commercial banks or directly the international or European development banks. So just to give you this overview of how much guarantee, for example, is available under what program, but most importantly, the sectors that are encompassed by these new programs. So you see renewable energy, transport, digital, industrial investments. So most of the agreements are, most of the guarantees are multi-sector. So it allows flexibility, and some are more specifically targeting specific sectors, such as here, renewable energy, for example, or dual use for others guarantee, risk sharing mechanism, because it's a newly eligible sector under the Ukraine investment framework right now. You can find very different success stories on the website. Here I just give this example. In this case, it's a Ukrainian company that was affected by the war, but there are very different cases that were supported by this risk sharing mechanism. So I invite you to have a look, and maybe you will find in this list something similar to your case or in the coming months. I just wanted to mention quickly this call for expression of interest addressed to EU and Ukrainian companies that are interested in investing in Ukraine. So for now, the call is closed because we had the Commission launched 2 calls for expression of interest and has collected a lot of interest from companies. We have received more than 200 investment projects on which we are working on. So for the moment, the call is closed, but I invite you to stay informed and to stay close to our news, because we should have more announcements in the future. But just to give you an idea, these calls were created to have a direct contact with companies and to better match them with the available EU support and EU programs, because the European Commission is coordinating all these programs that I mentioned before, and new programs are being negotiated and coming up and being operationalized. So the Commission knows very well what's coming up, the new pipelines that needs to be built in the future, and with these partners. So voilà, the idea was to help facilitate contact with IFIs, to help build a pipeline of investments in Ukraine. We have identified this type of priority sectors in line, of course, with the priorities that I explained earlier in the presentation. Here, it was more bigger investment targeted, indeed, but the programs in general that I have listed here, for example, they can also target smaller amount than 50 million, of course. And if it's below 5 million, for example, then it will be more relevant to approach the commercial banks, like I mentioned during that slide. And this was just quickly an idea of the sectors that were eligible and the proposals that we received. So mostly we received energy projects, but also in processing industry and manufacturing and construction. So you see there is a variety still in the sectors, but a strong presence of energy projects. Here's the country distribution, including Ukraine. So we received a lot of Ukrainian proposals in the second call. But if we look at the EU country distribution, we have, you see a lot of, we received a lot of proposals from Poland, Germany, and France, notably, but also from different countries. I don't think they all appear here, but it's also an encouragement the countries that may not be represented here, to feel free to enter in contact with us, to attend our events. We'll be very happy to suggest new webinars, seminars, to come also into different EU member states to explain and to answer to your questions regarding EU available support. And the next occasion is the Business Summit. I'm sure colleagues will further present this opportunity during this webinar, but it's coming up very soon, 22 and 23rd of April this year. It will happen in Brussels for 2 days. We have very big variety of sessions, SMEs, but also defense, CRM, energy, and also workshops during the second day. There is also a matchmaking on which you can already register, but I'm sure colleagues will further expand on this. And for me, that's it for now, and thanks a lot again for the invitation.
Thank you a lot. And from my side, I need to admit that access to this instrument is especially important for Ukrainian SMEs, and they need to understand how to get this investment, how to participate in these programs, and even they need to understand what is the, just entry point of all these programs, just whom they can apply. Because right now, I even know the statistics that right now more than a half, if we are talking regarding all the applications taken from Ukraine. So right now, our business try to be really, really active and proactive in all these applications, just to provide and to get some additional support to develop their innovation capacity. Thank you a lot. Thank you for this information, and thank you that you can be together with us today. And before we move to our next speaker, let me briefly outline the broad landscape. Today, Ukraine demonstrates strong momentum in several key sectors, particularly in energy, medtech, defense, and dual-use technologies, as well as deep tech. Despite the ongoing war, the innovation ecosystem continues to grow, with over 2,000 active startups in a rapidly expanding defense tech segment. Ukrainian companies are not only adapting to challenging conditions, but they are also developing solutions with clear global potential, especially in resilience, cybersecurity, and health innovation. With that context in mind, let us now move to concrete business cases that illustrate these trends in practice. Also, during these speeches will be presented the main directions of partnership opportunities that will be demonstrated. And I also need to admit that all companies that we will have in a list today, they are our clients, they are clients of the EN, and some of them have already success stories with us. So now let's move to a core part of our session and closer looking at the sectors and real business experience. And let me start with the energy sector, which is critical for Ukraine resilience and recovery. Sirocco Energy is a strong example of innovation in wind energy. The company develops turbines that can produce electricity up to 4 times cheaper than traditional grid power. This case clearly demonstrates how Ukraine innovation responds to real challenges, while also creating opportunities for collaboration with the European partners. I would now like to invite Taras Vodyany to share his experience. Please.
Hello, everyone. Glad to see you, and thank you for the opportunity to present today. My name is Taras. I'm CEO of Sirocco Energy, and we are a producer of wind turbines that can reduce businesses' electricity costs by up to 5 times now, not 4 for today, actually. We have a new result. So let's look at what happened in the market. So more than 70% of global market already has electricity prices for the business more than 20 cents per kilowatt hour. The second factor is that energy demand is rapidly increasing. The development of AI and data centers is accelerating. The power grids are very old, and require big investment for modernization. But for many years, renewable energy was perceived as a solution that required government subsidies and depend on them. The rapid development of solar energy has also created the need of balancing generation, especially at night and during the winter months. But if we look at onshore wind energy, we usually know it as large industrial turbines designed for open fields. However, most energy-dependent businesses are located in suburban areas and cannot use local wind as a source of energy for their own consumption. Large utility-scale turbines work extremely well in open areas, but they were not designed to be deployed near cities where, due to other wind conditions, due to noise, safety, and regulations. So in Sirocco Energy, we address this gap. We developed a new type of wind turbine specifically designed for suburban and industrial zones. Our turbines are quite compact and capable of operating efficiently in moderate wind conditions commonly found in suburban areas. We use up to 10 times less land than traditional wind turbines, are safe for birds, and we feed it into standard shipping container for easy logistics. Our turbines don't generate aerodynamic noise, which allow them to be installed directly near people. Importantly, we're not trying to replace traditional wind turbines. The system are highly efficient in their own market. Instead, we expand the geographic zone where wind energy can be used, effectively open a new segment of wind market. Key economic advantage is levelized cost of electricity at 3 to 8 cents per kilowatt hour, making up to 5 times cheaper than grid electricity on our focus markets. We are bringing to the market a product line of 30, 100 kilowatt, 500 kilowatt, and 1 megawatt turbines. By 2028, we expect the cost of 1 megawatt installed capacity to be below than $1 million, which is 30 to 400% more effective comparing to alternative wind option. It includes all necessary costs required for full project implementation. At the same time, the cost for turbine itself, for example, 30 kilowatt turbine model, is only $31,000. As a member of EAN, we offer two opportunities: technology pilot projects in investment opportunity. We have now started piloting our 30 kilowatt turbine. A single 30 kilowatt turbine can generate around 18 megawatt of electricity per year, enabling the payback period of 3 to 5 years. And also important to note that 30 kilowatt turbine is ideal first step product for companies, allowing them to adopt the innovation quickly and cost effectively in later scale with a larger Sirocco system. We are looking for partnership with steel structure manufacturers, aluminum fabrication companies, installers with the license for high altitude installation up to 49 meters, energy project developers, where our technology can become part of the energy mix and who are interested in piloting it, and as well as certification and testing centers for wind turbines. To implement pilot projects in transition to small-scale production, we are raising $4.5 million through combination of equity and grants. Based on conservative projection, we expect revenue of from 40 megawatt of solar project in 2028, which could support a valuation over $200 million compared to our current valuation on only $10 million. In 2028, we plan to raise our next Series A round to scale production, which will also provide a potential exit opportunity for investors in this round. We invite angel investors, venture funds, family offices to join this round, and we are also open to grant support. If you're interested of all these opportunities, please reply to this email and we will schedule the call to discuss more detail with you and find the point for collaborations. Thank you.
Tara, thank you a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't want to, postpone to your speech, but the presentation wasn't available. So we will share this presentation after our webinar with the colleagues. But if you want to share your contact, I mean that your mail that you have mentioned right now, so you can make it in the chat.
Okay.
But anyway, after the event, we will share all this information, all this data, because we have it, and it's will be not a problem. I know that you have prepared all these slides, but I didn't want to interrupt you because we have a limit of time just to discuss this point right now. But anyway, thank you for the information.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, right
Yeah.
now we
Sorry.
have it
Sorry.
in the chat.
I don't know what's happened with the slide. Okay.
Yeah, thank you a lot, and we will proceed with our next speaker. And we have our next speaker, Ukrainian technology company that focus on the AI-driven data analysis. Its core product collects and analyzes open source data from media, social networks, and other digital sources, transforming into structured insights, dashboards, and analytical reports. And for the next speech, I kindly ask Vladimir Hlushko take the floor, founder of Cyber Boroshno.
Yeah, thank you for. Yeah, I think with my presentation is everything fine, and you can see my presentation.
Yeah, everything fine. Thank
That's
you.
right. Okay, I'm glad to see you here. As said before, my name is Vadim Hlushko, and I'm CEO and founder of Cyber Boroshno and product owner of OCHAI. Let me give you 2 minutes on that we have built. OCHAI is a single platform that covers the full analytical cycle from raw open source data to finished decision-ready reports. No switching between tools, no manual stitching, collection, filtering, structuring, analysis, visualization, reporting, all in one environment. How does it work in practice? We start with automated monitoring across open sources, social media, Telegram, news, public records. The platform filters out noise, highlights what's relevant, organizes it by topics, objects, detects key entities, and surfaces it in real-time dashboards. The output isn't raw data, it's structured intelligence that a decision maker can act on immediately. 3 things that set us apart. First is genuinely all-in-one. Most organizations today juggle 5 or 6 tools to do what OCHIM does in one place. Second, the reporting is built for leadership, not only for analysts, consistent formats, clear methodology, and ready to present. And third, deep Ukrainian context. We were built by people operating inside one of the world's most complex information environments. We understand the sources, the narratives, the actors, in ways that generic tools simply cannot. And what we are looking for and why it matters for you. Let me be direct. We are not here to sell subscription. We are here because the kind of intelligence work we do in Ukraine, tracking narratives, monitoring entities, detecting information threats in real time, is directly relevant to challenges that European companies and institutions are already facing. And we think the right partnerships can bring that capability to your markets faster than building it from scratch. So there are 3 types of partners we are actively looking for. The first is enterprise clients. And I wanted to be specific about who that is. We are most useful to organizations that operate in complex, volatile, or politically sensitive environments. That could be a logistics company tracking supply chain risks across Eastern Europe, a financial institution monitoring reputational signals around counterparties, and consulting firm advising clients on market entry into high-risk regions, or a public sector body that needs to understand how narratives around a policy or institution are forming in the information space, but what is important before it becomes a problem. If your organization makes decision based on what's happening in the world and needs better signal faster, that's the conversation we wanted to have. The second is channel partners, firms who already have the client relationships, but not the intelligence infrastructure. Sync risk advisory companies, strategic communication agencies, due diligence providers, management consultants with geopolitical or ESG practices. But the main, we are not trying to compete with those relationships. We wanted to sit behind them as analytical engines that makes your offering sharper. We are open to white label arrangements, co-branded deliverables, or simply being your data layer. If you're already delivering intelligence or risk products to clients and you wanted to upgrade what's under the hood, let's talk. The third is technical and integration partners. We have a working API, a structured data pipeline, and a platform that's already processing thousands of sources in real time. If you're building products in adjacent spaces, media monitoring, compliance tech, market intelligence, political risks, and you see a natural integration point, we are open to that conversation too. This could be a data partnership, a joint product, or simply a technical integration that create value for both sides. So here, what I ask you to consider. Does your organization or do the organizations you work with face any of these situations? You are operating in a market where the information environment is noisy or fast moving. You are making decisions about counterparties, markets, or reputations without a clear picture of what actually being said and by whom. You are advising clients on risk and you want better tools to back that advice with data. If any of that resonates, I generally welcome a conversation after this session. We are a Ukrainian company built in one of the most intense information environments in the world right now. What we are learned here and what we have built here travels. And we are looking for the right European partners to bring it there together. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you a lot. Thank you. It was really interesting. Thank you. And we will proceed with the last our speaker, the last company speaker. And I need to admit that this company has already success stories with our network. It's really pleased that we can admit it. And this is company Checkeye, a platform for large-scale screening and early detection of chronic diseases. Use machine learning to analyze medical images and enable integration of preventive diagnostic into primary healthcare system. Kirill Honcharuk, now with us. Kirill, please take the floor.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for having me here. I will go without presentation just to make you a flavor understanding what we are doing. So as Olga said, we are AI-enabled platform for mass screening of chronic disease, and we are enabling primary care or beyond primary care, like pharmacy, do 3 minutes quick non-invasive test and detect chronic disease on the early stage before people are facing symptoms. Maybe a lot of you know that today our healthcare facing overstretching and accessibility. So access to the healthcare, especially in the rural area or hard access areas, it's a huge challenge. And the same is the waiting time. And due to this, two biggest chronic diseases are rising, like diabetes and cardiovascular disease, and leading to top disabilities, top cause of disabilities and premature death. So we are addressing these challenges. We are already have developed a product for the diabetes and its complications. And this year we are launching hypertension screening to address most common chronic disease in the world. We are now launched in Ukraine. Just yesterday, we signed a first pilot in Central Asia, and we are scaling this year in EU and UK. So we are looking for to scale together in the primary care and enable access to the early detection and prevention for the chronic disease, as well as the industry and healthcare institution for common R&D and bundle products. So I will be happy to answer your questions or share more information.
Thank you a lot. I think that we will share this information. If you can, please share your contact details with our clients and with our partners right now in the chat. And for sure, we will share the information after event with the presentation. I think that you have also sent us your presentation, and we will share it with our participants right now. And I think that we can move because we have a limit of time. I kindly ask for the presentation our colleague Alexandra Sukhodolska, DJ Crew, to present insights and important points and highlights from the European Commission. Alexandra, are you with us?
Yes, Olga, I'm with you. Thank you. I'm just allowing
Thank you,
you and trying to turn my camera on.
Super.
I'm not sure if you can see me.
Still not. That's why I'm just
okay.
asking.
Okay. Well, I will share my screen. And hello, everyone. Thank you for having invited me to speak at this webinar and be with you today. I work at the DG, so Director General for Industry, Entrepreneurship, SMEs, and Industry in the European Commission. And I wanted to share quickly a few events with you upcoming that would be of interest to EU and Ukrainian businesses. And while I'm saying this, I'm trying to share my screen. Let me know when you see it. Can you see my screen?
Right now it's uploaded. Yeah, right now, yes, but not in a full mode.
Okay.
Great, everything fine.
Okay. Well, I will try to be super quick. And one of the events you have already heard about, which is EU-Ukraine Business Summit taking place here in Brussels very soon in 1 month. And these are two other events that I will quickly skim over that are should be of interest to EU and Ukrainian companies when it comes to stakeholder outreach towards business stakeholders of EU and Ukraine interested in investing in Ukraine and working in Ukraine, and for Ukrainian companies interested in working with EU companies. These are the three events of this year for you to attend. And the first one is going to take place, like I said, just in 1 month. And it will be dedicated 2 days. First one will be tailored for high-level events with high-level speakers and of course also participants, including the Commissioner of Director General for Enlargement, Marta Kos, and high representatives from European government, including Deputy Prime Minister Taras Kachka for European integration, or Alexei Sobolev, Deputy Minister for Economy of Ukraine, and many more institutional speakers, as well as SMEs from both Ukraine and EU, financial institutions that my colleague Jean mentioned before, who would be available actually to also talk to you, because this event allows for a lot of networking. And one of the tools that will be used for this networking will be the matchmaking sessions that have already also been mentioned today. And I must reiterate that we're grateful to the Enterprise Europe Network partners for being fully behind this initiative and taking care of this dedicated platform that allows to register your profile, explain a bit about yourself, whether you're a business, whether you're an NGO, whether you're a financial institution, or any other type of stakeholder or participant. And you can then browse through other participants on this web page and schedule meetings with them. And these meetings could really cover all sorts of topics. This could be business related, collaboration related, or just collaboration related, and or just asking the European Commission officials that would be present at the summit different questions that were also covered today during the presentation of my colleague Sean. And to that end, a lot of Commission colleagues will register there. Also, international financial institutions will also register there. So go ahead and check which participants are already there to schedule the meetings, because we already have more than 140 different participants registered, and I see that today we already even have 30 meetings booked. We are 1 month still ahead of the event, and the registrations will be more and more towards the date itself. So I really encourage you to check the platform also closer to the date to have more meeting opportunities. And just to add that this matchmaking platform was proven to be very successful last year during the Rebuild Ukraine Fair, where also we made it happen with Enterprise Europe Network and Ukrainian cluster partners. We had over 1,200 meetings with 900 participants, which have already led to several success stories that I unfortunately cannot go through right now. So this is as for the business summit, and just to reiterate here that you are able to schedule meetings online, but during the 2 days, so on the 22nd and 23rd of April. But on the 23rd of April, you're able to meet with your dedicated counterpart on site immediately during the summit. There will be dedicated chairs and tables for you to comfortably have your meetings. So like you see, the event is 2-day event, and first day will be more around high-level panels, and the second day will be more for practitioners, which will include workshops and the matchmakings that I just covered. And on the screen, you can also quickly see the main topics, which are investment support, energy, defense and dual use, funds and equity, transport, logistics, critical raw materials, etc. So really looking forward to seeing a lot of you around. And the registration, just to stress this, is for free, but the participation is for free, but you really need to register. I will send a link in the chat after my presentation is over. So while the summit is approaching, it was one of the highlights of my presentation, but also, of course, we are inviting you to the other 2 events, which is Ukraine Recovery Conference a little bit later in the year, where the European Commission will be also strongly present, as well as Enterprise Europe Network partners. And we're working on really different engagement elements for businesses from EU and Ukraine at that event as well, but more details will follow. But for sure, we will repeat the success of the last year at Rebuild Ukraine Fair that we had, where we had also a lot of workshops, business matchmaking sessions, investment conference, and other business relevant activities. So already pencil it in your calendar, and we're looking forward to seeing you there. That's it from my side. Thank you. And I'm sending the links in the chat right away.
Thank you a lot, Alexandra. And I want to admit that we are invited all the colleagues from the EN become our co-organizers, and we want to add more and more partners to be engaged in these events, because we are just totally and fully involved in this preparation. And we hope that a lot of you, of those partners who are today with us, can also participate and be engaged in this event together with us, and support different companies and provide information to different stakeholders regarding these events, and we make our success stories together. So thank you a lot, dear participants. We have right now 3 minutes for the questions. If you have any questions additional, you can post it in the chat, or you can take the floor and ask.
There was one question actually, Olga,
Yes.
from Bulgaria, if I'm not mistaken, if the partnership proposals from the Ukrainian companies, which we have seen today, if they're already in our technology database, or how?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Some of them are already there, and right now I'm still waiting. Yeah, I saw that question, and I have already managed it and tried to connect with their stakeholders, who their partners who are just implement their activities in the frame of the EN. So we will share their profiles of those companies who are already there, and we're still not. We will make it and we will share it for sure, because they have new technologies and some of them quite new. That's why it will be shared with the participants for sure.
I've just seen that Alina has raised her hand.
Sure.
You may take the floor.
Alina, please.
Hello.
Hi.
This is Alina from the province of Noord-Brabant. That's the provincial government in the south of the Netherlands. I have one question, if it's possible to reach out to some of the people from the European Commission with the questions at the later stage. This is because after attending several events organized by the Dutch government and by the agency dealing with companies who want to invest abroad, I've spoken to a number of companies who have very frequently said, yeah, there are these schemes put in place at the European Commission level, but they're all too big for us. Now, I've heard in this presentation that it's also for smaller projects, and there was also this direct advice for projects which are below 5 million. But I would have more detailed questions, and I would like to know to whom I can reach out to exactly to get more detailed explanation about what type of projects and what does it mean exactly, and what sums are we talking about?
Maybe I can step in here if Jean is not around with us in the meeting. I will write in the chat my email address. Jean, who presented today, would be able to answer your questions specifically. I will just forward your message to her. I will post my email in the chat. But thank you for your questions. They're very important, actually, and they are raised on several occasions. So thank you.
Yeah, we get frequently this question from companies of different sizes. So we do see an interest from companies in the south of the Netherlands, and we would like to be able to provide them from the government side and the development agency side with more clear explanation.
Yes, of course, with pleasure. We will get in touch with you. I just posted my contacts in the chat. Thank you for the question.
Yes, colleagues. I have seen someone hand. No. So I think that we are out with the questions for now, and I think that we can also proceed with the final and close remarks. And I kindly ask Christos Kouras, DG Grow, to take the floor.
Good afternoon from my side. I'm Christos, and I represent the N team in the unit B4 Industrial Formal Lenses and Clusters in DG Grow of the Commission. Let me start by thanking all of you for providing us your time today for today's webinar on business in Ukraine. I trust we should all agree that we managed to deliver somehow, in a very compact way, of course, what we set out to do, which was to provide a focused and balanced webinar, providing both policy insights but also concrete business perspectives. This is very important, I think, a very important combination. We had a strong policy dimension of the Commission, and at this point, I would like to thank my colleague Jean from DG Enest for valuable insights. I also took note of the question because this is something very important, and I'm sure my colleague Alexandra will forward accordingly, because it's important to know the tools we heard about, the mechanisms, the risk sharing mechanisms, and overall this umbrella of EU financial instruments, to which companies and what sizes we are talking about, and they could be more applicable. Also, we had important on-the-ground intelligence from the Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, represented by Olga, and thank you very much for bringing this well-needed angle to the discussion, Olga, and also for moderating the whole webinar very smoothly, despite how compact it is and all the information flow that is available. It's important to hear from the source about the local business environment. So, we heard about the startup ecosystem, the regulatory and legal updates. It's important to know all of that. But we should all agree that what really matters is the valuable insights we get in such series of webinars from the actual business testimonials, and not just testimonials of good practice of how to work with Ukraine, but also of how the EN in general facilitates in a concrete manner such cooperations. So let me also thank warmly Taras, Vadim, and Kirilo for their valuable perspectives. And also my colleagues, Martin, who is not here today, but also Alexandra from DigiGrow, and Makis and Thomas from AISMEA for the excellent organization of the webinar. And I don't want to take a lot of time, just to reiterate what Alexandra finished her intervention with, which is the Ukraine Business Summit later in April. It again combines high policy level discussions, but also with business opportunities, very practical ones. And she mentioned the matchmaking platform. I'm sure if we have with us colleagues from the Enterprise Europe Network or clusters also, they are good testimonials of how useful and efficient this tool is in building partnerships. Let me conclude by giving a simple message. I think it's quite concrete that, to my understanding, if I try to be an objective, and I should be one, objective listener of today's webinar, Ukraine presents a challenge, but also, as Olga said at the beginning, during her intervention, a valuable opportunity for businesses that are willing to engage and partner. I would say, again, building on what Olga mentioned, when you don't have enough resources, you have to be resourceful. So it seems that Ukraine is trying to, foster partnerships against all odds, and highly valued ones. I will finish here. I don't want to take more of your time. Just maybe a quick information also from my side that our next webinar will be on the 22nd of April on doing business with the US, and more particularly on how to pitch for the Silicon Valley. Again, same time, 4 to 5, same day, Thursday. And thank you again for everything. And the floor back to you, Olga, to close the webinar.
Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, dear colleagues, for this opportunity to present all that we have, to present our companies, to put the accent that we are not so risky. For sure, we are risky, but not so as, don't be afraid to make a deal with us. I mean, that we are totally open for innovations. We are totally open for development. We are totally open for new contacts, for partnership. And our companies are going across all these borders, across all these problems, and we are moderating. We are trying to be better than we were yesterday. So that's why I'm totally sure that we have the opportunity to collaborate. We have the possibility to be on the same level with the European partners and understand each other. So thank you a lot that being today with us, and thank you, dear colleagues, that support us in organization this webinar. It's really important for us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olga.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.